Do you want the true Western hunt experience? Book your hunt of a lifetime today with Highland Outfitters, LLC. Located in Highland, Wyoming, 50 miles west of Casper. Their location in central Wyoming gives you access to some of the best hunting areas in the state. Highland specializes in archery hunts for elk and antelope. Their operations include Wyoming, Texas, and Africa. Highland Outfitters employs some of the finest guides in the business. All guides are licensed by the Wyoming Board of Professional Outfitters and Guides. No matter what the species you decide to hunt, you can count on your guide giving you 110% of being the true professional guide from start to finish. Book your hunt today at 307-797-3311 or 307-797-3312. Visit them on the web at HighlandOutfitters.com. With Highland Outfitters, you will get the true Western adventure.
Folks, welcome to another episode of On the Limb Podcast with Nature's Voice Game Calls, where deer camp becomes a reality for every listener. Join us as we talk God, family, country, and everything outdoors. Kick back, relax, and have a listen. Now, here's your host and co-host, Mike and Dan.
Folks, guess what? It's a little after 7 here in the Northeast, and it's still daylight outside.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it sure is. Spring is coming in fast.
Mm-hmm. You know what that means?
Turkey season.
That's right, baby.
I was thinking bass fishing.
Yeah, because you don't
that
want
too.
Yeah,
turkey.
turkey.
Hey, or it could be turkey fishing and bass hunting.
Oh, wow! Say that 3 times fast.
Right?
Yeah,
Lord.
You know, you can carry your shotgun on your back and your rod and reel in your hand.
Well, I mean, you got to take a fly rod in the turkey woods and a shotgun for the bass water.
Okay.
Oh,
I've never shot a bass before.
All I can say is good luck.
oh, that's why Dan's email starts with redneck.
If you see somebody with a shotgun walking around the lake, it's Dan.
Oh, gosh. All right, so Dan's going to tell us real quick about a nice, exciting event we got coming up this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. So that'll be this Saturday night. Be sure to come out and check Valley Park this Saturday, March the 15th, for the Kanawha River Valley chapter of Ducks Unlimited Sportsman's Night Out. Tickets can be purchased on the Ducks Unlimited website, or you can purchase them at the door as well. Man, it's going to be a good time. Doors open at 5 p.m.
Yeah, we've actually been to this several times, and they do a great job. You know, this is not like an actual Ducks Unlimited banquet, but it's just something extra that they do during the year. So if you are listening now or watching, you want to get tickets, call Caleb Hodge, 304-610-1080, and you can get tickets through there, or you can go visit their Facebook page.
Oh, nice.
Yep, so Ducks Unlimited, leader in wetlands conservation for, God, I don't know, like 100 years probably. I mean, forever.
Yeah.
All righty. So be sure to go over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts for all past and present episodes of our good stuff there.
Good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, guys, don't forget to use Podcast 10 at checkout with outdoor-pro-shop.com to get your 10% off your order.
All right. There goes our little spiel. We're done now.
Let's go. Let's get right into it.
Let's get right
into
into
a good
it.
one, boys.
Let's get in.
So please
It's
welcome
gonna
with
be
me
good.
Chuck Paddock with Hunter Nation and Open Season TV. Chuck, how you doing this evening?
Hey, doing pretty good. How are you guys?
Oh, man, we're great.
Well,
As you can tell, we're a hoot.
Thank God it's almost, I don't want to jinx myself. As soon as I say winter's over, next thing you know, we get a foot of snow or something crazy.
Yeah, that's for sure. We were just there talking before the podcast. You said you're as far west as you can get there in Indiana, so you probably get some good snows.
Yeah. I mean, it used to be back in the, when I was a kid in the 70s, we got some pretty bad, storms anymore. It's typical 4-6 inches, and that's about it. You know, nothing crazy.
so that must mean you're pretty close to Indy if you're about as far west. as you
I
can
am about 70 miles. I'm literally 8 miles from the Illinois border.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Actually, I can hunt. Nice part is I hunt in Illinois and I hunt in Indiana all the time.
Nice. So, funny thing on that is I was working in Well, I guess technically it was Illinois, the first exit off of 74 there in Illinois. And one of the job sites was in Eastern time, and one of the job sites was in Central time. But they were so close together. Like if you would walk 10 feet, you're changing time zones.
Oh wow.
Yeah, was that Lynch Road?
You, it might have been.
That's because that's right by my house.
No kidding.
Oh my gosh! So depending on how late you want to sleep in, you can just you could just walk over.
I'm 8 miles.
Dan was in your backyard.
Off
Didn't
of
even know it.
74. How funny is that?
That is funny.
That's crazy.
Now I got to look up exactly where I was at.
Yeah.
Now you got me
Yeah.
curious because I think I seen Lynch Road. I remember that.
Yeah, Danville, Illinois, and Covington, Indiana.
Yep, it was Danville because I was staying right there next to that casino.
Yeah. The salt grass is right there. Yeah,
Yep,
I just ate there last night.
Oh, nice.
Well, you guys got something in common.
Small world, right?
It is.
Wow.
It is. Yeah.
So, Chuck, you're involved in a lot of things, and so just tell us a little bit. Start off, tell us about yourself, and give us a little background on you.
Well, so I started hunting when I was 8 years old. I'm 53. My dad, I'm the only one in my family that hunts. I fell in love with hunting. We moved to the country. My dad bought me a 22 Rossi rifle. I still have it downstairs in my basement.
Nice.
And I lived in the woods as a kid. And, it's funny back then, you didn't really know a lot about whitetails. Like today, people are pretty spoiled, right? And we know a lot about how they work and how they, their scent and their calling and all this other stuff. And, back then we really didn't know a lot. And, I hunted them from the age of 11 to 15 and I didn't kill a thing. And you talk about a nightmare as a kid, because, of course, everybody asks you all the time, you get something? You get something? And then once I started figuring out, I really had to learn how to hunt. And once I figured out, I got all these big deer down here, and I still have my first deer on the wall, and he's got a light on him, and he's a little 6-pointer, probably scores about 70 inches, right? But he's maybe not even that much, but he's special to me because I killed him on the ground with my bow, but I finally learned how to hunt, and I started, killing bucks, and then I went through the brownest down stage, and then, and then I started wanting to kill bigger ones and bigger ones and bigger ones, and I kind of went through that. And it's kind of crazy because this year would have been a kind of a pinnacle thing. If I see a 140, 150 class buck or bigger, I just shoot it, right? I'm good. I don't need to, I'm not hung up on a score or nothing. If it's a good mature buck, I shoot it and I'm happy. Well, this year I kind of held out. I shot a 178 and 4/8, probably one of the biggest whitetails I killed in Indiana. And it's the first time I ever held out for one deer. And it was not easy because I probably called in 50 bucks.
Wow.
Because I've learned how to call deer in. I can, speak the language, so to speak. But it was kind of rough on me, man. I'm not going to lie. I just love hunting. Like I'm not that guy that hunts after one deer, but this deer got hit by a car. We've had him on the farm for 3 years. And I found out by the game warden that he worked a deer car accident on November 27th. I think it was 27th. Yeah, 26th. No, it was on the 25th. I left on the 27th. But anyway, and he disappeared. And I thought, he may be dead. And ended up on December 5th, I got a video of him on my Reveal Tax Cam, and he was limping really bad. And I thought, holy cow, he did get hit by that lady. So
wow.
I knew that he was hurt. So and he was hurt pretty bad. So I thought, you know what? This is probably the only time I'm going to get to kill a big deer that I know he's not going to leave and he's not going to fight and break his rack off. He's just surviving.
Yeah.
Right. And when I got back out into the woods was December the 10th. 11th. Then it was a bad wind. It was a west wind. And where he was on the farm, I knew I couldn't hunt with a west wind. So I just hunted on the south end, ended up seeing a mid 160s buck, came out, and I usually would smoke that deer. And I was like, I'm not shooting him, right? I'm just going to I'm not going to, if I can't kill this deer, I'm just not going to kill anything. And ended up the next night, I got in there early. I had about 15 does and 6 bucks out there fighting and stuff. And they started moving away. And I looked at my cameraman. I said, man, this is the this is the time when the big ones come out. And like 5 minutes later, dude, he walks out and he's staring at the blind. And he walks a little farther, and I get down on the gun. Well, first I grabbed binos, and I said, it's him. Got down on the gun, flipped the safety off, and I asked my cameraman if he was on him. He said, yeah. He goes, you want me to range him? And I said, yep. And he said 191. And when he did, I just pulled the trigger because my gun sighted in at 200 and it drilled him, and he ran the woods maybe 40, 50 yards and went down, and, the rest is history. But, it's just one of the deals where, I don't,
Sure.
I guess that, it was probably the only time I've ever yelled in the woods when I found a deer too. I mean, it was the biggest deer of my life, right? It was funny because the Amish kids scored him. They were like, did you score him? And I'm like, no. And we got 181. I was like, oh. And then of course, my son-in-law's got one of them scanners that scans the rack and you can make a replica of it. And it scanned at 178 and 4A. So he said, I was like, man, I should have went with the Amish score.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah,
That's
so that
funny.
was a fun ending, right? But I really just love hunting. I mean, I'm really not, I can score a deer like within a few inches, but I'm really not hung up on numbers. I feel like that's a detriment to hunting. I just love to hunt,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you was talking about, you went through the phases. I think everybody has went through those phases. Brown it's down. You're just getting started. Brown it's down, and then you start. Okay, well let's see what we can do here and get these big boys coming in and all that.
It was funny to see my son go through that phase early. I mean, and he's there now to where he's waiting out, because he killed a big buck last year. But there for a while, when he first was in the woods with me and he was hunting, for the first time big, he's like, man, he was like, I see a doe, Dad. As soon as we go out, it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't care.
That speaking of that, the same thing with Pace. This year she told me, she said, Daddy, I just want to kill a buck this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's got her couple kills in for doe, and we haven't had a chance at a buck, but now she's wanting that buck.
And I think that, it's funny how you go through stages, right? When I was younger and I was bow killing everything, and I was hunting with a bow nonstop, and I was proving that I could do it, right? So, sure. And I am a bow hunter. I mean, if anybody ever asked me, I love bow hunting, right? I just love getting them close, and I love a stick and a string. But I'll shoot them with a gun too. I mean, I don't care. I just like to hunt, So.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So, talking about that and talking about filming, why don't you talk to us a little bit about open season TV there?
So open season TV, we started in 2008. I really didn't want to do it. My partner did, James Blankenbeckler. And, but he had gotten a partner and that didn't work out. So I said, all right, dude, I'll do it. So we started filming together. And the first year, he filmed me killing one, I filmed him, and we were off to the races. And, we did that 08, 9, 10, 11. And then Tommy Martineer is the one that had the show originally. And he just didn't have time to do it anymore. So then James and I just took off with it. And, it's hard to believe, man, it's been that long. It's already 2025. I've had so many opportunities and met so many people. And really, like Don Trump Jr. is a really good friend of mine. And I wouldn't have met him if it wasn't for the show, because a buddy of mine who is a sponsor of mine was friends with a friend of his, and they got me connected with him back in 2015. So, it's funny how this show has really just given me all kinds of opportunities and places I could have never went to before. I mean, I've killed giant bull elk in Arizona on the San Carlos Indian Reservation and all kinds of big antelope, bull deer.
That's where there's some monsters at now, I'll tell you. Oh, my Lord.
It was ridiculous. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I was like, they told me to shoot the wrong bull, and my bull scored 360, right? I shot him with my bow. But I passed the 385. I could have smoked that sucker. But there was a 405 coming in, and they thought that would run him off, and I'd kill him. And instead, the 385 ran the 405 off, and then they all ran off, and I didn't kill anything. I was like, look, man, I just want to shoot a big bull. I don't need to shoot a 400,
Yeah.
Sure.
So you mentioned there before the podcast that you guys, the open season TV's been in existence since 2008, and you guys have got a pretty good following there on Facebook and the other social media outlets. So tell us about how, did it just blow up all at once?
No, it took a lot of time and effort. buddy of mine, Mike Vanez, was really good with Facebook, and he helped us grow our, our Facebook page and stuff like that. And so it kind of just, it took, quite a bit of time. Now, they harnessed that back quite a bit. I remember it was a Wednesday afternoon. We were reaching millions of people. It was unreal, dude. Our page was through the roof, and they literally just shut it off.
Wow.
And I thought that they shut our page off. Like, I thought but what they did was, that's when they changed the so-called algorithms.
Yeah.
But really what it means is you get to pay us, and then people get to see your stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But it's been, it's been pretty awesome. I've got a lot of people who stop us in the airports and stuff, and say, hey, we love your show. We watch your stuff. And, I'm real. I mean, I tell my cameraman, look, I'm not faking stuff, dude. Like, if you don't get my real reaction, oh, well, it is what it is. I'm just not a faker. So
yeah,
we really try to have multiple camera angles and different things. So that way you just get the real deal. You know what I mean? There's no, no acting, but.
No, that's good. I mean, I think that more people's heading towards that than just the show part of it. People being real and like everyday hunters.
Yeah, I mean, I think the lifestyle stuff's fun and all that. I mean, it draws a line, right? Like, nobody wants to watch me and stand behind my truck, talk to them for an hour, or stand in the hotel room or whatever. You know what I mean? They're like, they don't want to see me, but they still want to see that lifestyle, and it has to be entertaining and fun, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's a balance there when it comes to that stuff. So that's what we try to do. So
for sure. Yep. All right, we're going to take a break real quick, hear a word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back, Chuck.
Okay.
This episode of On the Limb with Nature's Voice Game Calls is brought to you by Apparition Scents, an outdoor and sporting goods company based in Dilliner, Pennsylvania. All of their scents developed and hand bottled with strict attention being paid to every detail. Contact them today at 724-998-7646 or check them out at apparitionscents.com. 100% lethal or your money back guaranteed. Get a hold of them today at 724-998-7646 or check them out at apparitionsense.com.
All right, guys, we're back with Chuck Paddock with Hunter Nation and Open Season TV. So, Chuck, we just talking about your TV show there. Now, like I said in the beginning, you guys are hooked up with a lot of different things. You do a lot of different stuff. So, one of the things that sparked my interest there on Facebook was the Hunter Nation. So, tell us a little bit about the Hunter Nation.
Well, before we get into that, Mike, let's do our salute.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Sorry.
Yeah, you always jump right into things and you don't let me speak.
Well,
that's all right.
I was just thinking about us not having one.
Wow.
That's all right. I mean, I understand it. It is what it is. So anyway, so tonight our salute to Valor. We're going back in time, guys. Like, I just learned about this guy, so it's kind of interesting. So tonight, our salute to valor is going to go out to Sergeant Major Daniel Joseph Daly. He was out of New York. He enlisted in the United States Marine Corps on January the 10th, 1899. During his service, he would earn the Medal of Honor twice and was recommended for a third Medal of Honor, all for valorous action taken on separate occasions. He was also awarded the Navy Cross and Silver Star, as well as numerous foreign decorations. So he was a very decorated soldier, and reading about him, it's very, very interesting. He took on some battalions dang near by himself, basically, is what they're saying here about him. So he was kind of a, needless to say, a badass. So we'd like to salute him tonight, and we appreciate his service and what he did for our country back in the early years.
Yeah, way back.
Yeah, well, that's what they say. These are the men that fought for our freedoms today.
Yeah, that's for sure.
All right, now let's get back to talking about that Hunter Nation. I'm intrigued about it.
All right. Well, I tell you what, guys, I didn't really want to have anything to do with politics in my life. And somehow I'm in politics, so to speak. And really, it's just seeing our country, and I think everybody's seeing it, right? That, hey, look, I used to be the guy to be like, hey, I'm not going to go vote. My vote don't matter. There's a ton of people. At the end of the day, they're never going to take my freedoms. I don't really care.
Yeah.
And, I've had a wake-up call. I mean, I've seen where simple freedoms they're trying to stop and stifle. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute here. This is communism type stuff. You know what I mean? Absolutely. I mean, I don't care if you believe the way I do. This is America. And whether you're left or right or whatever, you should have a voice, And when I started seeing where the people were trying to stifle a voice, I was like, all right, we got to do something about this. And we got to wake up the hunters, because what really, one thing that Trump said back in 2016, he said, look, hunters don't vote. And we were like, man, he's right, and I'm thinking, out of all the people who are so passionate and they don't vote. So we've been really on a mission. We don't take any money from this deal. We all have businesses and stuff like that. So our goal is just pouring the money back into this thing. And it's really been cool to see. We're starting to do membership drives now. And we got tons of killer hunts, giveaways. People went on hunternation.org. We're giving away truck. We're giving away elk hunt, hunt with Ted Nugent, all kinds of stuff. Michael Waddell, you name it. I mean, we got a hunt in the Yukon Territory on our place at the McMillan River Adventures. I mean, we've really, stepped it up a notch, and the funding's been great, and we've really seeing a difference, man. And I'm excited about it. I think if we can turn this thing into a monster like the NRA was, it will be something else,
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
Absolutely.
So your motto is Hunter Nation works to defend our traditional American values and is united voice of hunters. So how did that come about? Did you guys?
Keith Mark's the one that started it, and that was his vision.
Okay.
And we became buddies with him, and he needed help, and so we have been helping him. And it's, the cool part is we're real close to getting the wolf delisted. Last year, or I don't know, it was the year before last, they got it through the Senate, but not the House. But we're slowly working on getting that. We believe we will get the wolf delisted, which is going to be huge for, all those northern states that have wolves, so they can at least hunt them, and have hunting seasons that, they can expand that because there's so many wolves. So there's all kinds of different things that we're chasing after. We're trying to get Sunday hunting in Pennsylvania. Everything. I mean, that, anything and everything for hunters, that's what we're about. So. Sure.
That's awesome.
I mean,
because
what you see is what you get with us. I'm a black and white kind of guy. So that's kind of how we roll. And I'm just God, family, country, man. That's our motto. I mean, so
we know exactly how you feel on that. That's our motto.
Well, what I've seen is that like it seems to be progressive. Like, it may start with something like, well, you can't hunt on Sundays, or you can't hunt wolves, or you can't hunt, just whatever. But it just seems to be creeping, man. It just keeps creeping.
Oh, yeah.
Toward a total gun ban.
I mean, I say this all the time. You take the white-tailed deer and you put into a database how many laws on how to hunt the white-tailed deer, the same animal all over the country, and there's like a bajillion laws, right? I mean, I'm like, come on. I mean, and to me, it's like, hey, look, how about we do this? How about we start doing, since it's 2025, why don't you do real drone studies with, military drones and AI, and start doing real counts and understanding how to manage things, manage predators, manage, the animals themselves, and put that real data out there, not just, oh, hey, let's kill them all because the insurance company's really bummed out about having deer car accidents.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
big thing.
But the cool part for me is what I love about Hunter Nation is I know the hearts of these guys. I know what's really going on behind the scenes. I know this is not oh, hey, let's do this organization and we're all going to get rich from it. We're using the money to do good. And that's the awesome part. And we're going state by state, and not only recruiting them, but also, we're just getting people out to vote. So that's our main focus. And we have a secret sauce that we have done with our data guys. And we are seeing big numbers of hunters. We are motivating them to get out to vote. And we can see where we motivated them and where they voted, and it's a very high percentage. I'm talking like 75 to 90% in some places, where we have targeted these hunters, and then they went and they voted. So that's our focus, is getting more and more hunters out to vote and see that their vote does matter, and that they can make a difference, and they can make our country, the way we all want it to be, and that's free, real freedom. I mean, I was watching the other day on news, and the guy over there in England was like, well, we're for freedom. And they're like, no, you're not, man. You just put a guy in jail because he posted on Facebook that he didn't like something. You put him in jail. That's not freedom.
Right.
Yeah. So do you all have any active roles here within West Virginia when it comes to the politics stuff?
We don't. I mean, I know Jim Justice. I think it's Jim. Isn't it Jim Justice is in West Virginia?
He's in Senate now. We have Patrick Morrison.
Okay, so I met him with Don Jr. a long time ago. I went on his farm and went fishing with Don, and Don made fun of me the whole time because he can fly fish and I suck at
it.
Nice.
But Jim's super nice guy. But yeah, we don't. I mean, we want to really grow chapters and stuff all over the nation and grow this thing.
Yeah.
We've got in my opinion, because I'm in charge, with Rock Borderland and Keith, and we feel like we got the right guys in charge to keep a hold of the reins and control the money, because that's sometimes gets in the wrong deal, and we don't need it. So
yeah,
our focus is taking all that money and focusing it in the right direction, the right things, and the right people, and getting hunters. And when they're, I think it's, I can't remember. It's like Keith probably kill me because I don't know this, but it's like maybe $40 to join. But if you join Hunter Nation, you're going to get all kinds of, different perks and things like that. And you can join in on these hunt giveaways, but the money is going towards straight up chasing after voters. I mean, that's what we're doing. We're targeting certain areas, and that need that voice, the hunter's voice. So we're targeting those areas, and it's working, man. I mean, like, I'm not going to get into it on here, but it's pretty crazy. Like, when I've seen some of the stuff that we've targeted these guys and they go out and vote, I'm like, holy cow, this really is working. Like, this, there's no guesswork here. This is legit.
It's amazing to me that hunters is a big population that don't vote.
Hey man, you remember when they said it was early voting and they were freaking out because there were so many early votes?
Yeah.
And they were like, where are these coming from? What's going on? They were all freaked out. That was us, man.
Nice.
That was us. We were pushing guys to vote early. And so it was cool to watch that and to watch the mainstream media, because it was really odd to them. They couldn't figure out what was going on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was loving it. So yeah, I think we're on to something, right? And I think that if we can get more and more and more people to help us, go to hunternation.org, message us, anybody and everybody out there. We need your help. I think we need an army, and
that's for sure.
And I think this can be, a force to be reckoned with. I say it all the time. An organization is only as good as the top down. And, when you have the top, if you have problems in the bottom, more than likely it's come from the top. Right. So I think we've got the right guys with the right mission, with the right attitude to what we're trying to accomplish. And basically it's freedom, dude. I want freedom. I want someone that doesn't think like me, that can say, hey, I don't agree with you. And that's okay. We can, that's good. That's America. That's how it's supposed to be, right? Not I go shut them up and put them in prison because I don't like what they say, because they don't believe in hunting, and they don't believe in, I'm a right winger, whatever you want to call me, right? I mean, I'm good with that. That's what we need to focus on and keep that in America, because that's real freedom.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. So this just come about the last couple of years that you all started this?
Yeah. So, and Rock and I had watched this kind of start, and we just kind of laid back and was kind of just seeing how it would go. And then we jumped in really last year, probably really big. I mean, like, we were financially, because they needed the help, right? Nobody was helping them. And, like we told Keith, hey, look, we got to win one at a time. And it's like big bucks. When you first start killing big bucks, guess what? Nobody thinks you're a big buck killer. and then you kill one, then you kill two, then you kill three, then you kill four, then you kill five, then you kill 15. Next thing you know, you got a whole freaking basement full of big bucks. Guess what? People know, they know you're the real deal and you're a big buck killer. So I said, every time we go in and we get a win and we get hunters to vote, guess what that is? That's killing a buck. And I said, we're going to just keep putting them on the wall. And I said, eventually we're going to have a whole basement full of them. And that way people will see, hey, this is legit. These guys are legit. This is not smoke and mirrors. They've figured out a way to motivate these dudes. Because guess what? We're motivating ourselves. Mm-hmm. It's not hard when you can relate to someone when you're like, okay, my wife tells me 3 times. She tells me 5 times to take her trash out. She tells me, she texts me, then she leaves me a message. What else? Okay. Oh, and then she sends me a video. You know, I mean, like, those are the things that we're doing to motivate these guys. And, you know, I'm excited about it. I think that, you know, I think that there's more of us than they say. I think there's more people that love freedom than they say. And I think we just need to get people to go vote. And I think we did a good job this time. And I think like I said, if we get an army of people, I mean, think about it. I think at one point, the NRA had 9 million people. If we had 9 million soldiers out there motivating guys to go vote, look out, dude. It's never going to stop.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And as long as we keep our ducks in a row and we're not paying to go get our socks ironed, then we'll be good. Right?
Yep.
So, and that's the kicker, just like an open season, right? The reason why it's been going for so long is because I don't live off of it, because I don't take the money from it, because I don't need it. Yeah. Because I got other businesses and jobs that I pay my bills with.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with this. We all don't need it. We are doing it for freedom.
That's awesome.
You know? So.
Yeah, for sure. So you kind of mentioned about your raffles and everything. How can you just how do people get entered into those?
They go to hunternation.org and they can click on there. They'll see where the raffles are, and they can, you know, pay whatever it is for so many tickets and all that good stuff. But these are, I mean, my hunt that I'm giving away at the McMillan River Adventures, it's a $40,000 moose hunt. It's legit. It's $40,000. And you're going to go in just like everybody else does, and you're going to hunt for a Yukon moose. It's legit. I mean, it's going to be a killer cabin with a walk-in shower, and you'll be on a boat running up and down the rivers, going into a lake, running on a little boat to, you know, and the goal is to get you a big moose, you know? So yeah, we're going to probably do that. We're going to probably do that every year.
Nice.
Okay. So, you know, talking about the following you guys have now on social media, Facebook, you guys have some really big board members and stuff involved in this now.
Yep. It's only going to get bigger, man.
Yeah.
We've got some other people. We're starting to make noise and we're getting some people's attention. And I think that we are headed in the right direction. So you will see that even change more. We've got some guys that are some pretty big names. So it's awesome.
Yeah, that is great. I mean, I just looking through the site and everything, researching you guys a little bit more than what I have in the past, because I have heard about Hunters Nation, but probably due to Uncle Ted, you know, because I watch a lot of his stuff.
Oh, yeah. I get texts from Uncle Ted every day.
Oh, man, that'd be awesome.
Nice.
That would be sweet.
Hey, you know what? Like another one that's coming on board, Brett Favre, dude. Brett Favre is coming on.
I just seen that. You know, you can't beat that. Brett Favre's awesome. He was who got me into loving the Green Bay Packers. So.
Well, tell old Uncle Ted you got a nice podcast that we'd like for him to come on.
Absolutely.
I'm going to tell you something about that blood-sucking liberals.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. Love it. That'll be fun. I love it. That's the kind of energy we like. We love it.
That's right.
Right?
Yep.
Oh,
right.
But no, man, I tell you, if you can spread the word and I'm not in the podcast world. I'm 53, so I'm kind of old. I think I'm old. I tell myself I'm not. But
you're not old.
But anybody out there that that would have me on the podcast, or you guys get on a podcast and talk about Hunter Nation, or you guys want to get involved, we're going to get you signed up, because that's going to be our big push. Before this wasn't a push. Keith was focusing on going out to different groups and getting donations. And the problem with that is that's great. We're doing that, and we are getting some crazy donations now, but it isn't sustainable. Like, it's better that our members are making the difference, right? The members are paying the bills. And then that way, if we don't get the donations, it keeps going, right? And it's self-sustaining. It's a business. And we take all that money and we spend it on, on getting the word out and making sure we keep people motivated. Because what happens is a lot of people vote when they're pissed, right? So we got to get guys out like this time. We got to get them out to vote in the midterms, because you got to keep going. This thing's not over with. I mean, if you like Trump's going to be gone in 4 years. Now what? I mean, we got to keep going. This has been in the making for 60 years, in my opinion. The DC swamp, we've just been woke up to it. On both, in my opinion, on both sides, they are a swamp, and there's a bunch of people. All they're doing is making money, and they're getting power. They love that stuff. That's what they do. I mean, I always joke about this, but it's kind of true. I said, look, here's what we need to do. Send a census all over America. Ask 2 questions.
Yeah.
Do you want to go in politics? Yes or no?
Uh-huh.
And if they say yes, you ban them for life. And if they say no, you make them do it. I mean,
That's good. That's good.
Because they don't, that kind of person, right? Like, just generalized speaking, they're saying no because they really don't want the power and they don't want the headache, right? But I just we got to get more people in this that love freedom. That's their drive. That's their motivation, not power and money.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of it up there, dude. I mean, I've been up there in DC. I've seen it. It makes my skin crawl. I mean, I've been in some, in some meetings and stuff like that, and parties, and I'm standing around up there looking like, man, this is not. I mean, I literally went one time. I got in my, in the room with my wife, and I just said, gosh, this town makes my skin crawl, because I know that their motivation, some of these people, not all, obviously, but some of the people's motivation is about power and money. And we got to get more people involved and get them into this that aren't motivated by power and money, that they are doing it for the right reasons. And that's for freedom.
So Chuck, let me ask you a question. So we had the outro music on here and we were getting ready to go, but I got more questions. I told Dave cut it off.
Yeah.
So you got me intrigued on this election thing now. So, you saying you don't have a presence here in West Virginia. We'd like to help you out with that somehow, some way. Awesome. So,
okay.
So, I watch a lot of the politics stuff when it comes up, the week prior plus election night. So I say we do this podcast again on election week, like sometime during that week. And then we also have another one come up on election day, and then we just run it. Do you all get live stats from these states of where these things are coming in, kind of like the news channels?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, and we could do some.
We can do
some.
Yeah.
I could get you with our data guys, and we could do some targeting and all that stuff. I just call it their little secret sauce. I don't know what they do back there, but I know all I know is it works. I know when something works, right?
Yeah.
And I have physically seen it work. And all those battleground states that we won, I can show you data where we targeted people and those people voted. I can go right now. I could call their cell phone number or their, or email them, and I can show you where we were the difference.
Wow.
Right. I mean,
That's awesome.
It's big, it's legit.
That's awesome. I love it.
It's not, a lot of people say, oh, I did this and I did that. I can prove it. We can prove it.
That's awesome.
It's crazy,
I love
man.
it.
Yeah. I love
So
it.
if we can get this big group of people who, here's the nice part, they're not being pandered to because a lot of them haven't even voted. We were targeting people that hadn't voted in 16 years and they voted. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is legit. This is not, oh yeah, well, we targeted these people that have voted every time. No. We're targeting people that haven't voted. That's why you've seen, I believe, and I can show you this guys later. I can show you this later, but you can see the where we targeted people and how it worked and how we got those hunters out to vote. So I think, and we got a lot more to hit. I mean, there's millions out there, man, that aren't voting, that if we can get them motivated and get them to believe that you do make a difference when you go vote. So that we need an army doing that. We're an army of 6, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yep.
So if we can get that where we've got an army of guys out there in every state, and I've talked to Keith, and I said, look, Keith, everybody wants the sexy wins, right? They want to, oh, I got the president one, I got the senator race, I got whatever. I said, we need to do all of them. We need to hit them all.
Yeah.
We need to go right down, all the way down, and target these local races and stuff, and really motivate people in certain areas to help push that whole agenda, which is God, family, country.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I think it's great. I mean, the United Hunters voice. I mean, I love it.
Yeah. What you're saying reminds me, because I think sometimes we take freedoms for granted, and especially like if things seem like they're going okay, they're not really going to take my guns. They're not really going to take my ability to like conserve.
You let your guard down.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
But it reminded me of what Benjamin Franklin said, which was, you have a republic if you can keep it. Mm-hmm. If you can keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they knew human beings. They know how a lot of human beings are. And people that are drunk on power and money, they'll take it from you. That's the deal. So we got to get back to pushing. So we start teaching our kids to be entrepreneurs. And hey, if you want to work for somebody, there's no big deal with that. But our school systems teach you how to go get a job. How about we go teach our kids, hey, what are you passionate about? Hey, you like to draw? You like to paint? Go be a painter, go be an artist, whatever, right? You like music? I mean, all these different things, go teach kids to do the trades. We're short on trades like you can't believe.
Yep.
And you know why? Because they told every kid in America to go to college and get $100,000 in debt, instead of saying, man, that guy really likes HVAC. I love putting that stuff together. I love bending pipe. I love, they don't know because they've never done it. So we got to go back to pushing that, I think, with our kids, and say, look, it's okay. If you want to go, start your own job and do this, here's how you balance a checkbook. Here's how you learn how to live your life and pay your bills. This is how you live within your means. I live way below my means, and I live below my means on purpose.
Yeah.
Because it's a very calm life.
Mm-hmm.
I could buy all kinds of toys and be debt and payments out the hind end, but I did that when I was younger, and it was like a prison for me. Mm-hmm. So I decided I'm just not going to live that way anymore. You know what I mean? So I just think there's no end to this. This thing could be huge. And the big thing is I think if we just start working towards that, that's where we're at. And that's really what we want to see, our end game. I mean, Keith Mark said the other day, I just want this to be something that when I'm dead and gone, that it means something, and it keeps going, and it keeps the mission going. And that's just, constantly pushing this freedom thing and picking, vetting the right people. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people out there that, will act one way and do another. So that's another thing that, this machine could do. It could vet people. So we say, look, these are legit people. They're going to vote our values: God, family, country, freedom. That's their goal. They're not into taking our freedoms. They're not into shoving, a rag in our mouth. They're into freedom. Mm-hmm. They're into listening to the opposition, or, what they say. So that's really the goal. And I think if we can start pushing this big army, and I think it's starting to get traction, everything takes money, right?
Yeah.
So we had to put a bunch of money, Rock put a bunch of money in, so we got this thing going. And I think that now we made some noise, and the right people saw the results. And so that's cool, because that's, that helps with that whole thing. So I think if we just keep that ball rolling, we'll be in good shape. So I'm excited. I'm excited about it. I think Hunter Nation's going to be a monster. And I think as long as we keep it, there's a lot of organizations start out good. So we just got to protect it. Because one thing I don't want to see is when we're old and we're gone, that it turns into something different. So we're going to really try to protect that, and at least, keep it for generations to come, to be,
for sure,
what it started out to be. And that's just to protect freedom.
Yeah. I think that you and our legislative guy that comes on and does a segment every year Well, a couple times a year, Jason Webb would get along great. Don't you think, Dan?
Oh, absolutely. I was thinking that. I was going to mention that after we got off the podcast.
He would be
glad
line. To come on with us and do a segment during election week. I know he would.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, he owns Charleston Advocates here in Charleston. He's a lobbyist for a bunch of large different companies. So, he has helped a lot of things get passed here in the hunting world in West Virginia and other things. But,
cool.
He comes on and kind of gives us a legislative update on the things that are going on in here, in West Virginia and Ohio and different things like that. And he does a great job. So I think that would be a good matchup, that we could get together and do that. For sure.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wouldn't care to take an evening and do like a 4 or 6 hour just live stream podcast during the election. I mean, I think it would be awesome.
Yeah.
That's when
man, for sure.
That's when you want to get that out there and get the voice out there during the time that people's engaged.
And then you take that and you target that into a certain area and just keep hammering it. And the next thing you know, boom, it comes up in front of people, man.
Yep, that's right.
And then that's where they're like, man, if you can just get people to believe that they do matter, their one vote matters, because there are millions of them out there that think the same way.
Yeah.
And that don't believe the media, where they try to tell them that there's this bigger mass that thinks a different way. Because I think personally they're lying. But at the end of the day, if you want to vote, we just want people to vote. I mean, that's freedom. If you stop voting, and that's what's really happened, I think, over time, is I think a lot of people stop voting.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think when they're angry, they vote, right? Well, we need to just vote every time.
Yep.
And vote your values. If you vote your values, great. And you know what? If your values are not the same as mine, I'm okay with that.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, that's freedom. And that's
right.
what I want.
That's right. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. Chuck, we sure appreciate you coming on tonight, taking the time to talk with us and, explain to us the Hunter Nation. I was intrigued about the Hunter Nation when I first seen it, and I was like, man, we got to have this guy on to talk about that. Of course, I don't know if you remember or not, but we talked way back, probably 10 years ago or more, about using calls on the open season TV. Now that I'm thinking about it, we talked a long time ago, but it's probably been at least 10 years ago.
Okay.
But
I believe it.
Nothing ever went there with it, but we were making connections back in the day with a lot of different people and just trying to get ourselves out there and get marketing out there during that time. And I was contacting everybody I could. It didn't matter how big it was.
Right.
So, but yeah.
Well, I think everything happens in the right time, right?
Yeah.
I don't. That's why if a door closes for me, I just let it close.
No, that's right.
If it opens up automatically, and you're like, wow, I didn't do anything. So that's just kind of how I do my life.
No, it's good that it's coming full circle back around. So I appreciate you taking the time to be with us tonight.
Yep.
It's going to take some planning and logistics, but we'll definitely get this done. If you're good, I'd like to stay in contact with you so we can start looking at some data and statistics and start planning this thing out for the election week.
Yeah. No, 100%, man.
I'm gonna talk with Jason tomorrow.
We start pushing this and getting people on board, and they see that, hey, this is results, and then we start going after, targeted areas and stuff, and then we can get, our agenda out, which is God, family, and country.
That's it. That's awesome. Lines right up with what we believe in too. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you, Chuck. We sure appreciate it. Everybody, go
we appreciate you coming on tonight and speaking all you have.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Appreciate you having me.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching the live this evening. So be sure to go check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. We're there. Chuck, thank you again. Everybody have a great night.
Yeah. Also, don't forget to check out naturesvoicegamecalls.com and use podcast 15 for 15% off all your order.
There you go. Thank you, Dan.
That's right. Thank you.
All right. Have a good one, guys. Do you want durable 100% carbon fiber arrows? Warhead Arrow Company. Warhead Arrow Company is 100% carbon fiber constructed hunting arrows with bone-shattering penetration. Durable, tough, yet reliable when it comes to the moment of truth. Their target arrows are world-class in accuracy and precision, an arrow that target archers can depend on to reach the top of their game. Warhead Arrow Company. Check them out today at warheadarrowco.com.
That's Warhead Arrow Company. WarheadArrowCo.com.